are stored in overhead racks on the second deck and in storage boxes on the top deck. The instructions for donning life jackets are posted around the vessel.
I always get chills every time.
Well, it's very dramatic, and it goes on for really long. So, Dr. Troy, welcome to our listeners. Talking
Thank
Ship
you.
podcast. So this is our third season, but the first episode of the third season.
Well, we got out from under the old recording contract. We can now freely share these. So it's
and I
technically
appreciate the fact
season
that
3.
You are an attorney. You were able to get us out of that.
Thank you. So it's season 3, but I'm not sure we legally are allowed to reshare seasons 1 and 2 yet.
Fair enough. Well, we want to do this in a very above board legal fashion. And so if we cannot release the first 2 seasons, so be it.
Not currently allowed.
I'm guessing like within like maybe after 50 years they can release them. I don't know the rules. In any case,
it's more just working it out with our former recording partner.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe our trustee, Lieutenant Lizzie, is looking into that. Can I just say I have a giddy excitement. I always am more excited for the episodes where you tell me about a shipwreck that I know nothing about. And
which is
this
so
is one
funny.
of those.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you say that because I feel the exact same way. I really but in the opposite. Like I'd much prefer you to present the ship. And bottom line is, do you want to give a brief overview of what this podcast is all about for the new listeners? Obviously, I'm hoping all the listeners from seasons 1 and 2 have rejoined under this new legal
if they
entity.
Can find us. That's my big.
They'll find us.
Daunting to.
You got the internet. People find everything. But why don't you give a quick description of what the heck this whole talking ship is?
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing that I've discovered across the recent years, it's that you and I both love us a good shipwreck.
Correct.
And when I say love, we're not happy about any of these ships wrecking, but boy,
no sense of schadenfreude.
No. Maybe if it were like a Nazi ship or something, then you
would feel really good about it. And there might that actually could be a teaser for what's coming later this season. But continue.
Oh, I thought you were going to say later this episode.
No, we don't have that kind of thing.
Discovering a Nazi ship way down there somewhere.
Insane.
When I say we love us a good shipwreck, I mean we're fascinated by them. We gobble up any news story that pops up. We want to know all the details. If there are some silver coins, gold coins, if there's something shiny and valuable, then we're right in our wheelhouse. But if it's just some ceramics that once housed some olive oil or something, I can still work up some interest in that. To me,
Mm-hmm.
So we're just talking each week. We talk about a shipwreck. One of us does not know what shipwreck we're going to discuss.
That's correct.
And today you're going to tell me about
a really great shipwreck.
I can't.
And I think before I tell you about the shipwreck, I think it's important to note that what is particularly fascinating to me about these shipwrecks is the fact that they typically sink into waters that keep them very well preserved. Be it because of the temperature. I'm not a oceanographer by trade, but I do know
by
that
now I feel like we're, like junior.
Well, I mean, maybe we'd be awarded an honorary degree of some kind, but I think that
it's a dream of mine.
Or just to go along with one of these expeditions. But one of the things that I find so fascinating is the condition in which they find the objects. Like, sure, you've got your barnacles on the main boards of the exterior of the ship. They often find like perfectly preserved plates and things like that.
Oh, man, especially if it goes super deep or if it's some cold ass water, some fresh water, maybe. Wow. I think, the salt water is a little more corrosive.
Yes. But I think the point being is that unlike when battles are fought on land and they were fought 400 years ago, hard to really be able to recreate what happened and get a true sense of what they were using, all the objects.
Fantastic.
In a shipwreck, you get the whole story, and it's almost like the whole frozen in time, even from 400 years ago, which is crazy.
400. I mean, a couple
More.
of the wrecks that we did season 2
to the end of season 2
were old. I mean, a couple thousand.
Well,
which
perhaps
is
I was
insane.
more just using that as a teaser into the first episode.
Oh,
hello.
I see.
We jump right in.
But I agree with you. The time capsule aspect
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
Of course, there's the story around the ship and who was in it. These were real people on those ships. Well,
I also don't mind some drama over if you want to toss in a little bit of litigation over who has the rights to the ship, the home country or the country that it most recently left from, or that adds a layer that is
sounds like maritime law. Because what's crazy is that none of these shipwrecks end up just then going right to the person that found them.
No.
So you're right that's always a big part of uncovering, sort of the whole spoils of the operation.
You remember the girl, she was like in Norway or Sweden or something. She was with her family. I think she was an American girl, and they were on vacation this summer in some lake, and she pulled up she's wading in the water, and she pulls up a freaking Viking sword from hundreds of years ago.
Yes.
I wonder what the rules are on that, because it depends on the country. Some places it's like finders keepers, but I know in England, if you find a Viking hoard, you gotta report it.
There's paperwork.
There's a lot of paperwork.
You're going down the right path. For new listeners, is that a lot of these shipwrecks have been discovered in the last 10, 15 years. So it's pretty recent. Now we're seeing there were a ton of ships that just went down. So it's like uncovering history. It's really amazing.
Well, obviously one of the granddaddies of them all is the Titanic. And once they locate that at that depth, I sort of felt like, all right, the technology is getting to the point where nothing's off limits,
Crazy. I mean, it's not like you can, go into the sky and see, a World War II plane that was blown up. That's not there anymore. But under the ocean, you get to see, it's just insane.
I can't stay in the suspense. What are we talking about?
Okay, so here we go. And what I also want to say, we're going to get right into it, but it would be a funny episode if we just keep talking, but never actually talk about a real ship. Just talk about how much we like talking about the ships.
100%.
Anyways, let's get into it. Are you ready?
I mean, to say that I have goosebumps.
Okay, but may I ask, are you wearing any kind of nautical attire? Are you dressed for this, or are you just wearing your normal clothes?
Interesting.
What is your stance there?
Own a ton of nautical attire.
You're probably dressed to be on a casual yacht, like a guest, not a crew member, but you could be a guest on a yacht.
Sure.
Theoretically.
Sure.
Which means you're wearing ocean attire. So let's get into it. And so this first ship that I want to talk to you about, I'm going to tell you the year that it went down first. Okay, it went down in 1708.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
1708.
Spanish galleon?
Ooh, I really like where you're going with this. But now 1708 is what I'm selling. I'm telling you it's 1708. Let's put some context into that. It was a leap year. Okay.
Good to know.
So not a normal year, a leap year. That was the same year that Deborah Churchill, who was a British pickpocket and prostitute, was executed before large crowd because she was an accomplice to murder. That's a separate story. The other interesting tidbit about 1708, before we get into the ship, is Johann Sebastian Bach.
Love him.
Was appointed as the chamber musician and organist at the court of Weimar. Now, my
a nepotism thing, or did he have talent
I'm wondering if actually he did know that other Bach. The Bachs were very well connected.
Tight.
But now the last tidbit to just put context around how long ago 1708 was.
I'm still just wigging out on Deborah Churchill. Do we think she's any relation to Winston?
I did some cursory research and I did not find any connection. Yeah. So now the last tidbit on 1708, it was the year that Peter Jefferson father of U.S. President Thomas Jefferson was born.
Okay.
That's 1708,
That's some
and
good
that's when this
context.
ship went down.
That's some good context.
Now, this was the year his father was born.
Gotcha.
Crazy.
When those Spanish ships are getting out all over the world, and right, and they're trying to start to plunder, riches from indigenous cultures.
100% correct, and that's a perfect lead-in to the name of this ship, which is called the San Jose.
Love it.
So
it.
Here
got
you
a sister
have a
who lives in Santa Cruz. Got good feelings.
No,
about
but
San
it did
Jose.
have a sister ship. I forget its name. The San Jose was a 64-gun, 3-masted galleon of the Spanish Armada.
Dude, Spanish
galleon. You were right on time.
Okay.
You were right on time.
Okay, the San Jose.
It was launched in 1698. Now, launched, for those of our new listeners, it's when they would put it in the water. Now,
it sounds seaworthy. I mean, it's had some years under its belt. It's not a Titanic situation.
Correct. Yeah. It sunk in a battle with the Brits.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it was sold during the War of the Spanish Succession. And so what happened was...
Never heard of that.
It was a flagship. Perfect. And they had some Spanish warships. They had some merchant vessels. And they're all heading to Cartagena, Colombia. Okay. Now, on June 8th...
Lizzie's going to love this episode. Lizzie's got a kid down in Colombia, I think.
Not only that, but she is very good with maps. So I'm guessing she could put something up on our webpage, the show page. Now, we don't have that yet, but we're going to. And when we do, Lizzie's all over it. She's going to put the image.
I'll be honest. So one good thing about the whole new fresh start on a new platform is maybe some upgrades in that department.
Love the way you're thinking, proactively trying to make things better. Which,
how fun.
that's important.
Our
right?
listeners deserve it.
It's all about the listeners. Now, on June 8th, they did encounter a British squadron near Baru. This island of Baru led to this battle that was called Wagers Action. Now, what I find interesting is it's called Wagers Action because the Brit who was running things on that side's name was Wager.
Oh,
and guess what? They won. That's why they named it after that guy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Now, let me just tell you one more thing.
Yes, please.
The powder magazines of the San Jose detonated during the battle.
Oh.
So the Brits were able to do that, and it destroyed and sank the ship. Most of her crew, she had about 600 people aboard. Do you want to take a guess at how many survived? Of 600.
600 on that one ship, huh? Okay, I'm going to go with, this is where I'd like to know. Yeah, this is where I'd like to know how close we are to Cartagena, but I'm going to go with,
it was it was just south of Cartagena, like miles, not very far out.
Still, you don't have to be very far off the coast for everybody to die. I am just going to go on the side of sadness and tragedy, but I'm going to say, let's say 20 hardy souls survive and all the rest die.
And you're totally in the ballpark. 11 people survived.
Okay.
And, there was a big fire when it sank, before it sank.
Do you think they had to push other people out of the way and push other people into the water?
I'm guessing there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on it. That's the bummer. But the ship did sink into 600 meters of water. So it's very far down.
600 meters.
600 meters. I'm not on the metric system. So
me neither.
I'm going to let you do. The ship itself was 45 meters long.
I'm sitting here just struggling with 600 minus 11. So I'm not.
Well, hold on. But the ship itself was 45 meters long, and it sunk into 600 meters. So there may be an equation where you could determine how many ship lengths it sank.
Maybe AI could figure that out.
All right, but here's the interesting thing about this whole ship and why it's even more exotic. It was laden with gold. Gold, silver, emeralds.
Oh.
And let me tell you, this was discovered in 2015, so not that long ago. But let me tell you what the value of all of these jewels and gold collected in just this one ship. This is just one ship. I want you to take a guess as to the value, the estimated value of all of these jewels.
Today's value, obviously.
Today's value.
It's gonna be in the millions. I will say 50 million.
It is loaded with an estimated 17 billion
get
worth
out
of
of town.
gold, silver, and jewels.
Get out of here. Wait, are we
17
sure this
billion.
was going from Spain to Colombia and not the reverse?
I
Like,
am
why were they
positive.
sending a bunch of treasure to the New World?
How are you going to pay for all that cocaine?
Interesting.
You know
That's
what I'm
good
saying?
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do it
I
with
mean,
emeralds.
apparently
You
the
can't
cocaine
trace
is
emeralds.
unbelievable in Colombia. But yeah, go ahead.
Now,
The reason I ask is I think
Yeah.
Colombia is known for its, some sweet emeralds down there.
Totally. And I'm sure, who knows? There's more to the story. But what I want to tell you, which I think is also from a
Wait,
historical
will you give me that number again? Billion? How many billion?
17 billion.
That blows most of what we ever talk about out of the water.
That's correct.
Boy.
And so let me tell you
good pick to kick off the new season and the new platform.
Well, it's a huge number. And the funny thing is what we referenced earlier around the preservation of items like delicate porcelain tableware found in mint condition.
Mint condition, as Jack
Porcelain,
Black would say.
Okay, inscriptions discovered that led them to determine the manufacturing sites of the ship's cannons from Seville and Cadiz in the year 1655. So it's insane. You can see the dates that the coins were minted. You can see everything. So it's
who gets this one? Who does this?
Well, so here now you're going right to the legality behind this whole thing.
Yeah,
because it is.
I want to know if I can get one of these things on eBay. One of these coins.
Oh, even one of these porcelain cups. And again, once Lizzie posts the pictures, incredible. And incredible to think that the cannons were manufactured in 1655. Do you know what happened in 1655?
That was the year there was a
plague. There was a plague outbreak in Malta. 20 people died. I'm just saying.
20 people. Is that a plague?
That was a pretty big percentage of the population back. This is 1655 on Malta. There were like 40 people there. 20 died from the plague. And it's also interesting, 1655 happens to be the year that Pope Innocent X died.
Great name for a pope.
Innocent, love it.
Innocent,
and he was Innocent X.
One of my he's like my second favorite Pope Innocent.
Pope Innocent X.
Yeah. I mean, there were some good ones, but he's not, Pope Innocent III.
Well, he's no Pope Alexander who succeeded him, and like who cares about him? Like he was born Fabio Chigi. All right, but now getting back to the contested ownership, because we're talking about 17 billion.
With a B.
It's a huge, as they say, international legal row.
Okay. I love it.
Wherein the Colombian government is going to go ahead and claim ownership because it was their Navy ostensibly that discovered it. However, it had been discovered 10 years earlier. But there was
plus it's a freaking stone's throw from their coast.
You got that right. But now, hold on, what about the Brits who are saying like, well, wait a second, we sunk that ship?
Well, I feel like they have the weakest claim.
That one's not great.
I feel like it's, maybe go 50-50 between Spain and Colombia. That said, it is an interesting wrinkle with the treasure originating from the old world.
Yes.
So all that the Colombians really have is right there next to them.
Well,
and that the Spanish came over there and wreaked havoc.
This is true. Yeah. Colombia's government has declared that the wreck and all its treasure belong to them. And it has asked prospective salvagers to register their interest in recovering it. There you have that. So if we want to recover it, we have to register our interest with Colombia.
But do they have like a website or a web address where we can register?
We could have Lizzie find all those contact information.
600 meters it sounds deep though. Like I don't know what we're both certified to do, but
I haven't even checked how maybe my Apple Watch, does it go that deep? I don't
send Lizzie. Yeah, I'm not sure I feel safe.
I have an older model. I think it's like like for a pool. I don't think I can go get this wreck. Yeah, so that's where it is right now. It's definitely in this.
Oh, it hasn't all been brought up and cataloged and
no. So what they said, a spokesperson, for the Colombian Navy, said that the cannons, the coins, the gold bars, and the porcelain tableware can be seen lying exposed on the seafloor in perfect condition.
Are you shitting me?
No. Like, this is perfect condition. That's what I'm saying. Like,
how do you keep people? This is what I can never get over. how do you keep people from picking it clean once
I think
the
it's
word
really
gets
difficult
out?
to get to, and they won't release exactly where it is.
Yeah, but you don't got to be a rocket scientist
No, you just go to
to
Cartagena
track,
and take a left. Like, it's like, come on. It's like,
or just track where all the boats are going to, or I
right.
don't
Oh,
know,
plus with that
satellite imagery
kind of
or something.
metal, like I bet like just any old metal detector would pick that shit up.
Yeah.
You don't need sophisticated ground equipment when you got $17 billion worth of metal. Like,
I feel like maybe we should go down there.
it's pretty exciting. I mean, so $17 billion plus all of the crazy inscriptions. Now, what I don't know is, well, I'm looking to see how they would bring this stuff up because they have not recovered all of it.
I mean, they
do
must have
have
brought a few items up just to show, like,
well, they have photos, but the Colombian Navy supposedly is monitoring the site.
Yeah.
And so it says it rests
monitoring
near the Bone
/
Peninsula.
siphoning off the top.
Yes. So where are all these coins going? So pretty exciting.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Treasure
This
ship.
may be outside. This is, first of all, it's exactly the kind of shipwreck I like. Shiny stuff.
Yes.
A battle over who owns it. Now, yes, but
yes, please.
Any idea about how the battle itself went overall? I mean, obviously it went very badly for the 589
Terrible.
people who died. Did other ships go down? Is there other,
other ships went down, and they did discover 2 other ships right near the San Jose.
Also Spanish, or some
also
of the ships
Spanish,
that went down?
part of that same fleet that was on its way to Cartagena.
So it sounds like the British kind of had their way,
yes,
navally speaking here. It doesn't sound like they had as severe losses.
They did not. And that's why, again, it's named after the Brit who led the battle from that side.
Wager.
But
that's not where that term comes from.
It's not. But Wager, obviously didn't end up getting the treasure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, think of the limitations of technology.
True.
Hard to get down there back in those days.
Yeah, and apparently the Spanish,
although they would try, they would use these archaic, like, I don't know if they did in this case, but they would use these like archaic diving bell things that trap air in the diving bell, and then they would take more expendable members of their project, basically slaves, and send them down in the diving bell. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is, in terms of the actual battle, the Spanish fleet, with all these ships, had arrived, it says, on the evening of June 7th. Now, they set anchor, and the next day, by like 3:00, they knew what was going on because Wager was moving in. So they didn't even have time to enjoy, okay, we're almost here. So this is great. Yeah. They basically had to immediately take up defensive positions and
get slaughtered.
They were done. Yeah. It went very quickly. And it was the San Joaquin, which was the sister ship that, went down 2 hours into the battle.
Just imagine that moment when you're on the boat and the
I think you have to call
powders,
it a ship. I think
powder,
a boat. I don't think it's called a boat. Yeah.
Dinghy.
Yeah.
You're on the dinghy. No, when you're on the ship and powder supplies go up, that must have been like, okay, now we're fucked.
So screwed. Like, I wonder what you do. Like, do you jump in the water and try to swim away? I don't know. Again, Lizzie has an image she can post to the site on illustration of Wager's battle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely jumping in the water.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, you're just going for it.
Yeah, because fires are breaking out and people are screaming. It's mayhem. And it's not like the British are like, okay, stop firing. Like, who knows? There's more cannonballs coming in. Like,
Right. And they don't have guns, right? Like, there were no guns back then. So, like, if you're swimming, they can't, like, shoot you.
Yeah. Wonder what the shark population is like in that area.
Yeah, probably not great.
You don't want the USS Indianapolis vibe,
No.
where you're in the water for hours with the sharks.
Coincidentally, 1655, which is, that's the year they made those cannons that were on this ship.
Good year for cannons?
Decent year for cannons. And also, an update on the Anglo-Spanish War. I just read that this little tidbit. That was also the year of the invasion of Jamaica. Okay, now, so it says forces of the English Protectorate, led by William Penn, which sounds familiar, and Robert Venables.
How can that be? I thought William Penn was a flippin' Quaker. Why is he out leading war?
Could be a different William Penn.
Okay.
Forces of the English Protectorate led by William Penn and Robert Venables capture the island of Jamaica from Spain. So the Brits were totally just like dogging with the Spanish.
I mean, are the British forces once they get established there in Jamaica? Like, that's a great.
They're totally psyched. And isn't that the whole Robert Nesta Marley situation? Like, wasn't it some Brit that impregnated his mother?
Yeah, it was an admiral, like a vice admiral or something.
So had they lost this battle in 1655, who knows, right?
We have no Rasta.
Maybe no Bob Marley. Again, when you consider the magnitude of these shipwrecks and what they uncover in terms of just that randomness, 1655, like that could have changed everything.
Any sense of where we are in the tussle between these two countries? Are they deep into it, or is it still all kind of preliminary he said, she said kind of vibes? Or
it's very much he said, she said, and it's going to be in litigation for quite some time, apparently. But you know what? I feel badly because we do have sponsors.
Okay,
and
not a problem.
We have been waxing nostalgic here on this shipwreck, but we need to get to our sponsors.
Fantastic. So
the good news, Dr. Troyer, is that 2 of our initial sponsors, the sponsors that were with us from season 1, are back again this year.
Love these guys.
So let's first hear from Terry's Turpentine, which again, love this sponsor.
Love and the product, love the people, love
appreciate
the whole team.
Them.
Yeah. David, we know from our many listener emails that our fans like to tune into the show while doing tasks around the house or even at work.
That's true.
So, thank you. So, whether you're thinning varnish or paint, cleaning off wood stains, maybe making moth repellent at home.
Moth repellent?
Yes, you never know.
Yeah, could happen.
Or you are cleaning a firearm or just maintaining industrial equipment, Terry's Turpentine has you covered. Terry's Turpentine has been family owned and operated since 1993.
Oh.
It was one of our podcast's very first sponsors, starting way back in the year of our Lord 2018.
Wow. Love Terry.
Terry's Turpentine is a proud member of the Better Business Bureau of Southwestern Ohio and offers free delivery to customers in the Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati Tri-City area.
Beautiful area.
Is it really?
I'm not entirely sure. Sounds nice.
Terry's Turpentine, natural solvents of unnatural quality. And use the promo code TALKANDSHIP. That's all one word, no G, TALKANDSHIP. For 3% off now on your next Terry's Turpentine order.
A whole 3%?
Correct.
Wow.
It's more than 2%.
That's more than 2%, and it's turpentine. Yes. That's a good deal. Good to see that Terry's still on board.
Oh, buddy. Are you kidding me?
I mean, talk about being with us from day one.
Yeah. I love those guys. Love just some of the product they send us, but even beyond those selfish concerns, I know Terry himself is interested in shipwrecks. I know he has done a dive or 2 of his own in the Great Lakes area.
Incredible. Fresh water.
There's
fresh water.
Good shipwrecks up there.
One thing I will say is that there's a Spanish naval history website. It's called Todo a Babor, which loosely translates to all to port. And when I say loosely, I mean it's precisely that translation based on Google Translate. But it has photos and it has more information about these other 14 vessels that were part of this.
Great tip. I love when I get a chance to do some more research afterwards.
Dr. Troyer, I would be remiss if I did not mention one of our returning sponsors. And I think you know who I'm talking about because they've been with us since season 1.
Yes, I do. These guys they talk about a genius idea, but anyway.
I mean, they're fantastic. They're good guys. And we root for them. Let's hear from our friends.
Also, it's just a solution we all need increasingly. I mean,
you're mixing practicality with innovation,
and if the pandemic proved anything, anyway, go to the club.
Let's hear what they have to say, and welcome back. Kit, do you like sitting in never-ending video meetings on Zoom or Google Meet? You like that?
The worst.
Exactly. I find them unbearable. But how do we get out of these video meetings? Well, our sponsor, Choppy Streams has the answer. Choppy Streams is a browser extension that enables you to surreptitiously introduce realistic network errors that causes your video and audio streams to appear, well, choppy. The choppiness in the stream increases at a natural pace until you are forced to apologize and sign off. How much would you expect to pay for that, Kit?
Oh, I would pay a fair amount. I mean, that honestly would get me out of some endless meetings.
We hate the meetings. But at only $1.99 per month, that's less than $2 a month, you get an unlimited number of choppy streams. Looking to get out of endless video meetings? Get Choppy Streams and enjoy smooth sailing the rest of the day. Go to choppystreams.com, enter promo code TALKINSHIP, and get $4 off the first year of your subscription.
Are you kidding me?
That's almost a latte, by the way. Anyways, Thank you to Choppy Streams. Wow. Choppy Streams back again.
Yeah. No, I love those guys. Also, it didn't occur to me before, but I mean, the water element is appreciated. It feels like a nice tie-in with what we're talking about here on the podcast.
Incredibly appropriate.
So I don't want to out myself and say that I've used the product, especially in relation to one party that I interact with.
Yeah, I thought this episode was about to take a very different turn. And I'm glad this is what you are talking about.
Yeah. But the Choppy Streams works perfectly. It's a great solution.
Solution. Very, very stable, if I can say that about a product that introduces instability. But I would say that they've done it well. You know what I mean?
The thing I like about it, though, is also that it honestly, unless you're using it over and over again against the same person, then, you know, the jig might be up, or they'll just say like, dude, like, if get somewhere where your fucking laptop works. But unless that scenario is going on, it totally looks like, you know.
I'm just thinking back to our last staff meeting, and didn't Lizzie have a problem with her video?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
A little suspicious.
Wait a second here. We were only 10 minutes into that 3-hour session.
The only reason I'm willing to cut her slack is she is being the conscientious sort that she is. She's usually the one trying to keep us on a little bit longer to cross the T's and dot the I's. We're the ones who are trying to sort of eke out of a squirm out of doing more work. So
not implying she's a slacker, but am curious about that last staff meeting.
You know what they should do? They should sell a second solution that allows you to tell whether you're being choppy streamed.
Wow. Double dipping, so to speak.
Yeah. And so then the next time Lizzie's cutting out, it's like, are you though?
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then
I don't know.
And I think that's a brilliant idea, and I think we should tell those guys, because we know those guys. But here's the thing: let's just consider this, and I'm not trying to.
Would we get a piece of the action if it's like legitimately our idea?
No, I think you have to look at our agreement. But we do have a good relationship with those guys. But here's the thing: I like what you're saying about the Choppy Streams detector.
Yeah.
But hold on, that's like obviously a premium feature, because then you can see if someone's. But is there another upgrade? And I think you know where I'm going with this.
No.
That enables you to block someone who has that feature to know if you're using choppy streams.
Oh, man.
To actually hide the fact that you're using choppy streams. Hello, mic drop. There's your other $1 million idea.
Yeah. What do you call that third tier?
I don't know.
It's a little bit, it reminds me of the Spanish and the British armadas going at it down there off the coast. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Technical.
All right, Mr. Tor, before we wrap up this episode.
Yes.
And God knows I could go on, because I mean, when you really think about what that treasure trip was holding, $17 billion.
The feedback we've gotten is they appreciate when we don't go on.
That's true. But the last thing I will tell you is, because of the depth, and again, we're talking 600 meters, do the math, it's far down there. But they said that the recovery is so expensive and complex that to date, no physical steps have been taken to salvage it. There's $17 billion. You can't get there for $17 billion.
I'm sorry, but what depth was the Titanic at? I mean, 600 meters. But it's like no steps have been taken. I would expect, like, you know, every crook with a rowboat would be out there taking a shot at this.
So tempted.
Dude, I cannot wait to see the photos.
It's just insane. Okay, so next episode, and I'm not doing a teaser because we don't know what the next episode.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do, but I'm saying about you can't tell anyone.
I'm not going to, but I mean, I could tease it, you know.
All right, give it a tease, but don't let people figure it out, if you know what I mean. Don't let internet sleuths go on and like, oh, I know you're talking about
keep
the
it general, but we're going way back in time. We're going way back in time here, and we have a ship owner here who did not always behave himself. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah.
Well preserved? Anything on it well preserved?
Now we're starting to get into the area. If I give you information, you're going to be able to.
It's exciting. Yeah. It's exciting that you didn't answer that. That's good.
Yeah,
that's like a teaser.
Well, we learned a couple things in the first 2 seasons.
Fantastic. Yes, we did, and we're still learning. Right? Like we don't ever claim to be at that final place of perfection.
No, I mean, I would say that our second to last episode of season 2 was
phenomenal.
Yeah. It's a freaking crime that we can't just put it on this platform, but we will get there.
Do you think we will? Honestly, like you're the legal mind. That thing could blow up. You know what I mean? That episode in particular could blow up.
I mean, an ultimate, if I may use that word.
Yes, great word
from season
second
2
to last.
Yes, from season. I mean, we do own the intellectual.
That episode got off the frickin' rail.
Well, also because Lizzie herself actually
was out of control that night. Literally, she was bouncing off the wall, but it was the excitement. Am I right?
She was about to punch me. I mean, there were a couple of twists where we thought we had wrapped it up, and then
you were still calm. You remained calm. Which I mean, wow. Looking back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you think the lawyers can get us to post that?
I mean, it's really just, like I said, it's a simple negotiation. It's just,
I don't get it.
Right now, they're asking for an amount of money that even if this podcast one day became, freaking Joe Rogan, it's like,
well, hello, it could if we could get that episode out.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I agree. There's everything's fraught.
Very bad business for us to sit here and,
well, first of all, our sponsors don't care
about that.
Our sponsors are with us and we're with them.
No, but I mean, it's annoying for people to hear how good something was and then they don't get to hear it, but whatever.
Of course, but maybe
if we had legions of Swiftie type fans, they would, they could just agitate for the resolution of the of our dispute with the original platform.
I wonder if any judges listen to our podcast. Like a judge, judge that could actually do something about this.
Maybe like maritime
rule. Like a judge could just rule something, right?
Maritime
and then we could
judge,
release it.
Maybe.
Interesting. Okay.
I want to finish up by saying that was just a home run to start off the new season.
Fantastic ship. That it's $17 billion to me is just unbelievable.
Amazing.
Like half of Twitter just sitting 600 meters below the ocean, right? Didn't almost spend like $40 billion?
You know what I'm going to be doing as soon as we wrap this up?
Looking at the San Jose photos. And if only Lizzie could have posted them, but she will. And we'll get there. All right. Dr. I'm going to play our outro music.
Okay, let's do it.
On our first episode of season 3. Super exciting. We'll see you, next week with you presenting a ship?
That's correct.
Enjoy.